Good afternoon from the Second Age of Reason. We're here in the woods today. Again, I came to Valley Forge. It reminds me of Devil's Lake, Wisconsin. It's got the hills, the rock formations, the bluffs. It's just a very beautiful place with colorful autumn leaves. Lots of them all around me. And I don't know, I think this stuff, in Wisconsin we call it garlic mustard, and it's not good. It's an invasive species that likes to get everywhere. And I see it's pretty well on the forest floor, and it hasn't changed color yet, so it's very robust. So, today's topic, the scope of rights. By scope, it's like I'm thinking of that we have rights, and they're enumerated in our Declaration of Independence and our Constitution. It talks about that men are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. It didn't say American men. It didn't say men of any country or race in particular. And it didn't talk about any particular Creator either. So it could refer to, the Christian God, the Jewish God, whatever. So, then the question is, if God gives rights, who takes them away? And do they just apply to Americans? Do they just apply to Americans in good behavior? Or are they unalienable, as some of our documents talk about them being unalienable, that they cannot be taken away? And one of my contentions is that governments don't really grant rights. They can't give rights. They can only align themselves with the inherent rights that already exist by default in nature. And when they set themselves against the default in nature, that particular system then is in danger of becoming extinct. So I look around the world and I see that there's people in trouble all over the place, that they don't have the right of free speech, they don't have the right of the press, they don't have freedom of religion, they don't have freedom of assembly, they don't have freedom of redress of grievances, they don't have freedoms, so many of them, or even the due process and the rule of law. But I think we have to say, is that just a scope being focused on Americans in good standing? If you think it has more wider application, shouldn't it apply to everyone on the planet? But then you are given the issue of implementation, the issues of enforcement. So I think that the rights of men apply to all men in all countries, and the individual nation states, or in future cases the likely happening one world government, it can either align itself with those rights or it can set itself against those rights. And any government that sets itself against those rights is doomed. So it is time to use the power you have while you have it. We have republics that are supposed to be run by the rule of law. We have some democracy, which gives us a little say in some things. And if those Republican democracy things fail, then what's left? At some point, it may require that the people reorganize. It might not have to be a revolution, it could be an evolution. Like at one point, everything was in the water, like fishes, and then it came out of the water, and it became on the land. Maybe it wasn't overnight, But eventually, certain things stayed in the water, and the other things just abandoned the water and moved on to something else, something better. So, that may be in store for humankind these days. That they might have to just say, you know, the system is not working, it's not for us, it's not very human. What's behind it? Whatever's behind it, maybe it's not human. So we just have to abandon it and make up our own, compose our own, define our own, which is exactly what the Patriots did through the actions in the late 18th century with the likes of George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, and many others. They just were trying to, they had the ability at least to get physically remote from the seat of the empire. Being in America across a great ocean did put some logistical separation there. We no longer have that luxury. Everything is together in one place now. So we may have to draw a demarcation, maybe even as close as in our mind, to separate the two empires, or to separate the empire from those who do not wish to be a part of it. So, I'm just rambling on now, thinking at random, which I think you all should do. And so, I would encourage you to rate this, and if you have put comments below or video responses, they're always welcome. So, until later, we'll be seeing you.